That's Sword of Etheria. Let me turn the music down. Turn my music down now. Okay, you guys shouldn't be hearing any Sword of Etheria now. It's time. It does say you keep playing? Okay, I can't remember that for the original Nier. I do know the or Automata, how we pronounce it. Like, that one has, like, a literal pop-up that's like, hey, keep playing, dude. Alright. Sword of Etheria. It's time to review Sword of Etheria. I think it's worth noting that we are reviewing this game after a single playthrough, getting the normal ending, nothing else. I think it's pretty reasonable to expect that somebody would play this game and only play that one playthrough. So I don't think it's like necessarily a bad thing to review a game that way. In this particular case, I think it depends on the game sometimes, but this one seems like pretty reasonable that you might only play through that game once. I may play through it again though at some point. Where is my text here? It's been a while since we've done this. I think properties here. Okay. Also, let me know if the noise, the sound, the music's too loud. There should be some kind of music playing here. Yeah, there it is. All right. What do we like about this game? I like the character design though. That's a good for me. I'm on the wrong thing. Or maybe I'm not on the wrong thing. How did I used to do this? Oh my gosh, I'm already confused at what I'm doing. I think this is a part of the same box here. Okay. I like the art style. I think it's pretty reasonable to say like really cool art style and aesthetic, or maybe really cool aesthetic. Presentation overall, I think it's like a great looking game overall, honestly. It maybe like the character models are a little like janky, but you know, I think overall we'll stick with just aesthetic for now to keep it short, but really cool aesthetic. The music's pretty good, although I do feel like I don't really remember any of it super well. Oops. Lost the chat. 1 second. Yeah, unique character design. I mean, does unique character design fit into like the aesthetic part of it? In some ways, I think we probably could like Is there a word that like better defines maybe everything about how this game? Because at least in my opinion, everything about this game looks great. Every part of it, aesthetically, art style wise. You know, there's some frame rate issues, but we don't really care about that here. If it doesn't get in the way of the video game, it's fine. Like I think that's probably fine. The music is good though. Castlevania-y soundtrack maybe. Aesthetics a good blanket. Okay, good blanket term. Castlevania-y soundtrack. That's maybe not the proper term for that, but it is the same Castlevania person. But I think that's like for how much space we have what we're working with here. Character design goes into aesthetic. Okay. The story was pretty good. Are we in agreement about the story being pretty good? I don't know if I care about the story. I care about the characters though. Like I like Leon. I like what's her face after I already forgot her name. Almira. And I like Phil. It's good story. Okay. Strong story / characters. Because for me, it's all characters. But if you guys think the story's good, then I'll definitely include that. Really, I mean, in my opinion, Electric is very straightforward. Of just like you're gonna go kill God, and then oh no, God makes enemy monster or people into enemy monsters. Just like very like okay, video game story. But replay value. The only. I agree with you, Mr. T. The only problem with that is that we have not played that extra stuff. So there is definitely replay value, but I don't know if in this review it makes sense to include that or not. Because we're not really talking about what we're not going to play through this on stream ever again, probably as much as even, I don't know. I mean, maybe in the future, but I would be surprised if we do. I would want to experience that a bit more, which is why I kind of like at the beginning of the review specified this is a first playthrough only, because I think that caveat's important here. Because it does seem like a game that wants you to play through multiple times, but it also feels like a game that maybe wants you to play through multiple times, but tried to create a story that you'd play through it once and be like satisfied with, right? It doesn't feel like a game that really like leans on the fact that you play through it a bunch of times. I mean, they didn't even tell us that there's multiple endings, right? Like there's other question marks here, so obviously there's other stuff to do, but like if I played this game without looking up a guide, I would have been like, okay, that seemed like a not great ending. There's probably other endings, and I'd have to just look up the fact that there's other endings. But if I did not have that resource available to me, I would probably just be like, okay, well, move on with my life. So, but yeah, let me think about the replay value part. I get it though. I think it's probably a good part of this game. I just don't know if we can say it in our review definitively with that. That being said, I always talk about how with like Sonic games, I don't like the ranking mechanics in Sonic games. I literally do not care about that part of the games, but I do praise that part in my review of like, hey, this is here, it's cool, it's like something that people like will grind out and do and stuff. So like maybe it's okay. Let's put it in there for now. I might take it off if we have something more important to say, but we'll include it for now. How about this? Seemingly good replay value. It's kind of a stretch, but yeah. I mean, character development could be a part of story, right? Like, I think that is like, because I think there's a difference between a good character and then character development, right? Because a good character can be a good character without there being anything plot-wise that happens with them, where I feel like character development is more of a story thing. So I think that fits in. I don't really know if anything happened with Leon and Almira that feels like character development to me. Maybe I should say I'm a little biased that I like Leon and Almira the most, where Feel, I'm kind of like okay on Feel. He seems kind of normal, like the normal JRPG protagonist, but... The one for the replay value, Electric. I think I'm let's take it off for now. We'll think about it. But yeah, it feels hard to say something. They were one note, to be honest, yeah. Yeah, they are one note, but I do like them. That's why I think the character praise is there. We'll keep, I think, the story, unless like there's a very hard pushback against the story part. I would say it seems like enough people had said story was good that we'll leave it in there for now. And I think it like fits in there nicely. And some people might consider characters and story to be similar things in a lot of ways, so. The juggle mechanics is a better way to put it. Strong character interactions. Does that replace characters? For the people, I think it was Joshua and Mr. T. How are you guys feeling on Alex's comment there about character interactions? Because I'm not the one who really wanted story to be there in the first place. So, I mean, I just care about Leon and Almira. So, I like Leon and Almira a lot. That is, and they died. So I'm going to give this game a 1 out of 10. Out of 5, sorry. If we don't hear back from Joshua and Mr. T, we'll forfeit their position on story bonus time there. While we wait for that, I think the juggling mechanic is something we need to talk about, and how we actually put that into place. Juggling is very cool. It's a very cool mechanic. But on the bad side of it, I don't think it flows very well in the game. Like, that's kind of my big problem with this game, is that, like, it does not feel like juggling is as easy as it should be, and it causes a lot of problems. So, like, I like the idea of the juggle mechanic, but I think a lot of my frustration also came from the fact that the juggle mechanic was not, like, you know, that it was just not easy enough to work with, right? And I don't necessarily know how satisfying it was to do like the combo attacks at times. Like that is probably like, as much as I like the idea of it, like it just it was more frustrating to use than it was fun to use. Because I think there's a difference between like if it's easy to use but it's not like super valuable. Like if I could just melee and kill everything super easily, I mean, which you kind of can to some extent. But if it was still fun to use, I think I would be a little more lenient in that case. But because it is frustrating to use, it makes me lean that might be more on the bad side. Yeah, that kind of thing. Definitely electric barrier. I feel like it just it's so painful because like what really needs to happen is that enemies just need more vulnerability time. They have too many invulnerability frames basically. And they just it's too hard to interact with them. And I know there's that one guy who came in like 2 streams ago or something that said you can do the jump attack and slam down, and you can do it, but it's very slow and it's like really hard to like combo off enemies because you have so many times where like Leon's just like feel and like you don't know how it's gonna come at you. It could be like flying like at a lob, it could be shot like a bullet at you. You don't know what's gonna happen. You need to be able to react quickly. So like having to do the jump and then the down slash is just like not a good reaction time kind of thing. So I'm really split on where to put it because I like the idea of it, but it just like at very few points in the game did I feel like it was like something that made my experience a better experience. And I don't know if that comes off as well with like watching it versus playing it. I didn't see any response to the story stuff, so I think we will go with strong character interactions, I think is what you guys said. And then if we need to re-debate that, we can. So I guess the question is maybe more of what I'm asking or trying to think about is, can you have that idea being cool and then also failing on both the good and the bad? You like the story? How about this? Technically, we're saying the good. The good is the story and character interactions. But we'll leave it at that. We'll put it there. I think character interactions could arguably be a part of the story. In my opinion, character interactions are a part of the story. It's just, I think there's a difference in character interactions and a character and who they are. And I don't know. I feel like the things I like about the character interactions in the game are maybe not necessarily what they were intending so much. So yeah. But enemy AI was pretty weak. Yeah. Is it an AI issue? I mean, the enemies are very aggressive. There is kind of like the grouping problem as well in general, right? You have all those enemies that are grouped together and you just like, controls are stiff enough that you can't really react to what's happening in the group. I mean, this is starting to get into the bad again. So like, I don't want to get to the bad just yet. But I guess, is there anything about the combat that you say would be good? I think somebody said something earlier, right? I think Joshua, you said something, right? Juggle mechanics make sense. You were agreeing with Alex. Okay, what were you saying, Alex, about juggling? Good enemy variety? When you say good enemy variety, Alex, are you talking about the character design, or are you talking about the actual like AI? I scrolled up quite a bit, so. I know you played a little bit, Zero. Did it feel rewarding to you? Because like to me, there's something relieving about it, but usually I was so frustrated that I did not care at that point. It's like, just thank God it's over. Like, it didn't feel good. Enemy design and functions. Okay. So good enemy design and functions variety from the enemy design point. You think so? It's just hard to do. There is something good about seeing that giant chunk of the boss's health bar disappear. You are right. I think just like so much of the frustration outweighs it, but rewarding combat, quote, when it works. Is that reasonable? Quote, sometimes. How about that? Rewarding combat sometimes. I think I can agree with sometimes it feels good. Sometimes. Most of the time, probably not. But occasionally, there are highlights where it works, right? You would say so? Okay. Let's leave it at that, I think. That'll be pretty reasonable. I think we probably have space for one more. I'm still thinking about the enemy variety, Alex. The reason I'm still thinking about it is, so you have the ranged guys, you have the minions that like they just kind of run towards you. You have the shield guys with the spears, you get the hammer guys. Yeah, there is a good variety of enemies. I had to think about it a bit, which maybe means to me it doesn't like stand out a ton, but I do think there is a good variety of enemies, because like in listing that out, I think I only got like halfway through the types of enemies in the game. And you do have to deal with them in different ways, right? Like with the shield guys, you have to call Almira and Leon to the other side to flank them. So like reasons to do it, despite like kind of the end goal always being I need to daze the enemy. So, and the bosses were memorable, and the boss battles were unique as well, right? Because they had to do particular things to beat most of them. The last two were a little straightforward, but I think it's reasonable. Good, or we don't need to say good. Enemy / boss variety. Does this game have a unique aesthetic? Are there other games that look like Sword of Etheria? I'm sure there are at least something, but like when we think about the grand scope of games, like I feel like this game has a really distinct look that I like in general. So maybe something just like distinct aesthetic, does that? So rather than like unique, distinct, because we know there's probably other video games that look somewhat like this, but like a distinct aesthetic. Distinct thing, is that word meaning what I'm thinking it's meaning? Distinct. Definition. Recognizably different. Yeah, I think that's good. Is this a good, does this feel good? I think this is a good set of good. Yeah, I think that's why I always like try to avoid the word unique, Joshua, because rarely is something unique, but something can be rare enough that it's distinct and stands out, right? So I could definitely see that, Alex. But different, like tonally and like setting wise for sure, but like aesthetically, I could see it kind of falling close to that to some degree. So I think this is a good set of good. All right, I'm gonna give us like a good like maybe 20 seconds or so to make sure the YouTube delay is caught up, but I think this is probably set for good on this. I'm gonna close that window and then hide this. Feel free to let me know if we need to add any additional things to the good, but for now we're gonna move on to the bad. I feel like we talked a lot about the bad already. I don't know if frustrating combat system is maybe the best way to put that. I need to play Chaos Legion. Is Chaos Legion cheap? That's a PS2 game I should like keep on mind to look for on a shelf. Pricecharting.com. In my mind, I know it's not. In my mind, Chaos Legion is a game with Gact in it, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Yeah. I think the main character reminds me a little bit of Gact in that other PS2 game, so $20. Okay. Reasonable. I will probably not buy it for that amount, but reasonable. Frustrating combat system. I think that's easy enough. Nice. $10 is about the price I'd pay for Chaos Legion. So, needs more checkpoints, man. This game is really intense on the not enough gags. This game is really intense. Always not enough gags. Really intense on not giving you checkpoints. At least in my opinion, and it doesn't feel like something that feels rewarding. Because I think there's working on that Nintendoji video right now. There's definitely like certain games that's built around that fact that it feels good to like have those high tense stress situations. And you know, obviously on stream it's a bit different than if you're playing alone, right? But I don't think this game's strength at all is those tense situations. I don't think that benefits the game. I think it makes it so you just kind of play more conservatively, and so you interact with the combat less, I think. So let's say normal ending unsatisfying, because I don't know about those other endings. But all caps for normal to highlight it. I mean, yeah, I could do that. Normal. Now normal looks like a really weird word to me because I caps locked it all. Enemy AI can be a pain. I don't think it's an enemy AI problem, Joshua. I think the problem is the controls are stiff. Which might be technically a part of frustrating combat, but I think it is big enough to highlight. Stiff controls, because that is what really... Like, if you could react more quickly, the fact that you get, like, rushed by enemies, I think would be a lot easier. If you could guard quickly, if you could dodge quickly. But there's so many times where you're just kind of sit there and you're just stuck. You're like at the end of an animation, you're just like floating down from a jump or something, or you finished an attack and your character's trying to get back to his like individual stance, and you're just like always able to be hit basically, which is like the opposite of what the enemies can do. So I think it really comes down more to the stiff control part of it. And from my direct experience to it, because I don't think the AI does anything that's bad per se. Maybe it's a little mindless, but considering the type of game this is, I think it's reasonable, right? For that type of, I think the bigger problem is that the enemy, you can't react to the enemies attacking you, and I don't necessarily know if like saying an enemy shouldn't attack you while you're attacking something else is like, there are games that do that for sure, right? And to some degree you might consider it like a good design decision. The graded price for Chaos Legion is $700. I need to close this tab and stop looking at this. My eyes are stuck on it, but yeah. I don't think the ending was horrible. I do think it's unsatisfying though, right? Like, I think if you're gonna make that ending, Almira and Leon need a better reason to die. Telling them that, like, just saying, oh, they're at the end of their rope is kind of one thing. Like I would get it if they made some excuse of like, hey, like just freaking give me some stupid reason of like, oh, they were like powered off the gods or whatever. So when you killed them, the gods, you know, their power ran out because they were subsisting off the god, right? But it was just like, oh, they were at the end of their energy, and then so Dorothy gave them one last burst so they could fight, kind of thing. I don't know. So graded prices are nonsense, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say too much. I don't know anything about graded prices. I don't want to say anything about it. I'm not like smart or intelligent in that way, and I don't know anything about how that market works. It's none of my business at the very least, and $700 is not what I would pay for it, and in my mind, not the value. I do know what you're talking about, Electric, though, with the provable fraud stuff for sure. I don't want to say too much just because, you know, I definitely have watched the videos about it, but I don't know a lot about it. But it seems very, very, very suspect. And it seems like something that maybe there needs to be some legal action on to some degree. But I'm not the person to do that legal action for sure. So, is there anything bad here that we need to add on to this? Frustrating combat, stiff controls, needs more checkpoints, normal ending was unsatisfying. I think the story is like fine enough for what it is for the most part, though. Like nothing about that story was bad. Just I don't think anything about it was good, even though we have some disagreement to some degree. But I think the characters were good at the very least. Almira and Leon were good characters. is my opinion on that. I think this is like my general feelings, though. I think that's pretty set. So, all right. Well, we gotta sign off from Alex. Anyone else want to give me the thumbs up? Otherwise, I'll just move on forward. Difficulty spikes. It is yeah, you're right. There are difficulty spikes. You are 100% correct about that. Uneven difficulty. I think that's reasonable. Do we want to keep Gact on here? Where is our feeling with Gact existing on this list? Have we put Gact on any other review that's not Dirges or Rez? I can't remember. I know we've joked about it for sure. Difficulty spikes. I think that's kind of the same thing, but yeah, we could look at that. Difficulty spikes. Our inside joke. Keep Gact? Alright. Whenever there's free space, we'll just include Gact. Alright, it's time. The music should change. I don't remember if I fixed this music. In editing the reviews recently, I realized this music is way too loud on this page. So, is it even going, actually? I don't know if it's even going. I don't think it's going. I know why it's not going. Okay, I can fix this. Okay, I think I made it quieter. So let me know if the riddle music's too loud, because in the reviews it's been loud. I think I've reduced it, though. Okay. Anyways, I need me. Where am I at? And I need you guys. Where are you guys at? Oh, that's right. The chat box like breaks on this page. I know why it breaks too. I might be able to make a workaround where I can still hide it. There you go. It sounds fine. Okay, good. Yeah, the more, if you haven't listened to the most recent casual reviews that I've edited and put together, it was way too loud for most of them, so it's fine. I'm upside down and my green screen looks bad. I might be able to fix that actually. Let me. Nope, doesn't look any better. All right, green screen's just gonna look bad. Anyways, I forgot to reset the score. Okay, let's move it back. I think that was our, what score was that? Was that Sonic and the Secret, or the Black Knight score? 3 stars. Anyone else say any other numbers? Gact would have been a good, okay. Yes, well, there's enough space for Gact, so we'll continue to use him. 3 stars. How do you guys, so as much as I've been frustrated by this game, I guys feel about like, I'm gonna feel it right here. 2.5. Oh, I think I might be alone on the above 3 stars. Yeah. Dang. I want it to go up. You know, like 2.75. Yeah. The problem with me, let me just say, the problem with my feelings about this game is like when I'm playing the game, I'm probably right here. Like, maybe like right here. When I'm playing this game, I'm right there. But when I think about this game, I'm like all the way up here. I'm like, oh man, I love Sword of Etheria. And then when I play it, I don't actually like it that much. I love the idea of Sword of Etheria, though. I like want to be there, but I think, yeah, Pi, yeah, Mark Pi on there. But I think 3 is reasonable. It's a little, let me see, is this lined up right? Close enough for now. I'll fix it later if we need to. Let me, just move that over a little bit. I think that's out of place because of the Sonic of the Black Knight text was so long. I had to move it over. All right. We feel good about this? We feel happy, a general happiness about Sword of Etheria. Our frustration and happiness evens out. I think that's reasonable for me. My eyes are leaking. I'm very sad that we've given this game such a low score. I don't know. All right. Give me some thumbs up in the chat. I should give you guys like a stamp emoji or something. I don't know if I can even do that on YouTube. So you can be like, we stamped it. It's good. Rather than you have to type out stamp. Stamp time. Stamp time. Pie time. All right. You know what that means. I'm gone. You're gone. Oh. We did it. We stamped it. Ooh, this was a game. Oh, my name's Ben. Am I flipped on this screen? I think I'm flipped on this screen. Oops. Sword of Etheria, man. I love it and I don't like it at the same time. I really wish, I really want to like it. I want to play it more and see if I like it more. But, yeah.